Okay, so my peoples over at Signature came with a hot one this week as we get to look at Land of Bad, right? This is the new film from William Eubank, who co-wrote it with David Frigerio. I think that's how you say it. Okay, so the film is produced by Adam Beasley, William Eubank, David Frigerio, Arena Fraser, Mark Fasano, Michael Jefferson, Peter Jackal, all right, from Medieval, Nathan Klinger, and Ryan Winterstern. It is executive produced by Henry Winterstern, Tracy Vieira, John Stahlberg Jr., Kyle Smitherson, Tracy Robertson, Jared Purrington, Delphine Perrier, Nathan Mayfield, Ricardo Magnoni, David Lugo, Jack Berlou, Bennett Litwin, David Lightfoot, Sophie Jordan, Wes Hall, Luke Hemsworth, Paul W. Hazen, Joshua Harris, Vanessa Yagu, Rufan Frigerio, Ford Corbett, JJ Caruth, Cindy Burra, Marcus Bolton, and Martin J. Barab. Co-executive produced by Kelsey Abraziz, right, and Diana Hole. It's associate produced by J.G. Clark, David Lightfoot. Yeah, that's it. Brandon Roberts handled the music. Augustin Clement, cinematography. Todd E. Miller, he took care of the editing. Mary Venu and Michelle Wade Bird were on casting. Production design was handled by Nathan Blanc-Feu. Art direction is Ali Newling. Hair, makeup, prosthetics, all of that jazz. We've got Pippa Nicholson, Selena Purcell, Katie Pickles, Sharon Robbins, Natalie Stanfield, and Colin Wilson. Right, so our cast. We have got Liam Hemsworth as Sergeant J.J. Kinney. All right, his brother Luke is Sergeant Abel. All right, we've got Milo Ventimiglia as Master Sergeant Sugar. Well, it's Master Sergeant Sweet. John Sugar Sweet. All right, we've got Ricky Whittle as Sergeant Bishop. Then there is Captain Eddie Grimm, aka Reaper, played by Russell Crowe. His colleague, Staff Sergeant Nia Branson, is played by Chika Ikowo. We've got Colonel Duz Packett, played by Daniel MacPherson. There is Saeed Hashemi, played by Robert Rabah. Victor Petrov is played by Jack Finsterer. One of the airmen is played by Lincoln Lewis. Hornet 1, played by Gunnar Wright. Private Cooper is played by George Burgess. I feel that's our main Yeah, I feel that's our main lot. Oh, Petrov's wife is played by Anna Loren. Yeah, she probably deserves a shout out. Um, yeah, but that's I would say that's probably our main group of people. Okay, so the gist of the story is uh, a covert special forces operation in the South Philippines spirals into a brutal 48-hour battle for survival when an elite extraction team is ambushed deep in enemy territory. Rookie officer Kinney is left outnumbered but determined to leave no man behind. With an airstrike closing in, Kinney's only hope hinges on the guidance of Air Force drone pilot Reaper, navigating unknowable danger where every move could be their last. Right now, we have a director's statement from Eubank, and it reads: Land of Bad is a film about friendship and brotherhood. When writing this film, um, when writing the film, this bond was between the core characters stuck in an impossible situation in an unforgiving landscape. When I arrived on set in Australia's Gold Coast, I found that this bond transcended the page in two ways. It was forged between the actors and is a key value of the country we filmed in. It was this camaraderie from researching and penning the screenplay with my co-writer and producer David Frigerio, through the stories we heard from real Delta Force soldiers and what I experienced on set that made Land of Bad an unforgettable experience. I hope this bond again transcends the screen, helping to take the audience on a heart-pounding, action-packed journey. While these characters in this film are imbued with realism, it is not based on a true story. Allowing for creative license in terms of the plot, it was important to trace the emotional journey of Kinney, a young officer suddenly confronted with a situation that will change him. Land of Bad follows a young soldier maturing into himself and his place in a team. By the end, he is a hardened soldier. Making this film was not only a joyous experience thanks to working with David and the cast, but the fantastic crews in Australia. Thank you to the terrific teams that made the film possible. All passionate artists who have an infectious work ethic, and especially with this breathtaking backdrop of paradise, with perfect weather and sunlight, and all the things you take for granted when you're working in a studio or another part of the world. Well, that makes it a once in a lifetime experience. Making this movie was immersive, beautiful, and an absolute blast. Not once did I feel like I was waiting to come up for air. Queensland now feels like home for me. I hope you enjoy Land of Bad more than anything else. I wanted to give the audience a ride, an experience, a great time. I wanted white knuckle tension, a bond between characters that would play with your emotions in moments of peril. Enjoy the ride. So, so did Eubank and Figueiredo pull off this task? I would say they did. I would say they did, right? I think you are definitely I think you're definitely connected with these characters, you know? Like we start off and we've got Kinney, standing there looking at two little cereal boxes, right? Those little tiny ones, the lunchbox kind of size ones, those ones looking at what a packet of frosties and I forget what the other one was, Fruit Loops or something like that. I think it was Fruit Loops. Um, although I think you call them Frosted Flakes in the States, not Frosties. Though they do still use Tony the Tiger. But yes, he's looking at these, but looking in a way of someone kind of like dazed, perplexed, like they're over their head. You do get that feeling from that moment. And that's when Sugar comes in and tells him, yo, this is what we're doing, right? So you understand that he's new to the scene and he's lacking on experience, right? So in the plane, at first, right, there's still talk on cereal and things like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck are they talking about? Right? What are they talking about? But then, right, then I was just like, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Scott. Because, this is these guys before a mission, right? We got Kinney not being on a mission like this at all, you know? Not being, he's like a drone, he doesn't control the drones like Reaper. But I think he helps navigate them in a way. So he's not meant to be in the thick of it, right? So this is very new for him. And, the team, right? They've not worked with him before. So they're trying to, bust his chops and get a vibe, right? Get a relationship. So then once you remember that, right? You think about that, you're like, oh yeah, no, this plays well, right? This makes sense. You know what I mean? This is all right. You know what I mean? Like it'd been a long fucking day, people. It'd been a long fucking day. Right? It'd been one of those days too. So yeah, I probably was a bit off at the start, but boom, pulled myself into check. And I'm just like, yo, okay. Okay. So then you're looking at the film in, you know, with different glasses, as it were, you know. Um, which brings everything into context and you get it, you understand the flow, right? And so then you're just watching, right? You're watching and being like, okay, so what's going to happen? And we're seeing them, go about things. And again, right, everything, they've been commissioned, they've been sent on a mission, right? Sent on this mission, but what they find isn't what they expected. So things are definitely off track. Then they just go even more so. And you're just like, well, where the fuck do we go from here? Right? This is some craziness. So you're riveted from that moment, right? Riveted from that moment. Now, in between all of this, we also see, right? We've got Reaper, we've got Benson. They're both, talking, right? So we understand their dynamic. So we see that, as well as, right, Packet, the tension there. So then we get, okay, so this is the cats in the field, this is the cats at home on base, right? So we understand what's going on here. And look, I think they're both two different settings, but they're still both interesting because we see, like, certain things get said, right, in films which let you know, oh, that's going to be significant later on. You know what I mean? There's like something that could be very innocuous, but so it's just like there's no reason to make a point of that thing unless it plays into the film. So you're wondering, okay, how will this, unfold? How will this unfold? Because there's a couple of ramifications. So it could be either way. Either way, not being the best. One definitely being worse than the other. You know what I mean? But it's engaging, right? We don't get this in-depth look into every character and everything like that, but they do feel rounded, right? They do feel people like people with situations. I mean, Branson is probably the one that gets the least play, right? But she does fit for what we have, right? So yeah, it's very interesting. Now it gets to a point, right, where something happens and you're like, oh well, yeah, it kind of makes sense that now we're on this ride, right? Now we're on this ride, but it's still right. It still kind of makes sense. It still makes sense after the film swerves, right? Because well, I can't really say too much, but right, we get some other twists and turns. We do get some other twists and turns, which are really kind of interesting, unexpected, I would say, especially after what you see, so that was interesting. That was interesting. There's one part in the film, though, one part in the film, and I'm just, all I'm going to say is, right, fire heats up metal. Fire heats up metal, people. So there's no installation there, right? Water in metal with fire, that's gonna boil. You know what I mean? So there is something, and I'm just like, wait, hold on a second, because that does not make much sense. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what? But at that point, you are like, okay. I mean, we can roll with it, right? This is when Eubank says, what did he say? While these characters and the film are imbued with realism, it is not based on a true story, right? Which is fair. But the imbued in realism, no, I mean, it's Hollywood, right? So, yeah, you see, there's certain things which are just like, yeah, no, that wouldn't happen, right? That couldn't happen. Not if that thing happened. What are we saying here? But we got some good performances, right? This was a good performance from Crowe. Like sometimes when you see Russell in a smaller film, sometimes it feels like he's not necessarily put his full force behind the role, right? It's not the same Crowe from Gladiator or if it was The Insider. I feel that was the one, The Insider, right? Or some of the other roles we've seen him in, which he's been great, right? But this one, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, right? All our other crew, right? Like Milo Ventimiglia was good. Ricky Whittle, you know, like both of the Hemsworths did their thing. Daniel MacPherson, Chica Ikawu, you know what I mean? Everyone played very good parts, right? It was solid. We got some good cinematography, some good shots. It was kind of rousing, and you are kept on your seat, especially as the film's ramping up at the end, right? You are like, oh, I mean, you kind of feel what's gonna what's gonna happen, but you want to see how are they gonna roll it out, right? How are they all gonna roll it out, and how are they gonna crown it, right? What's gonna be that final huzzah? I mean, I could do without the dancing, but yeah, it was decent. It was decent. Maybe like obviously, obviously, no. When you think about where someone is in comparison to the other elements, it's just like there's no way from that thing to that thing. Like, no, there's no way, right? It makes no sense, like time wise, but it still was fun. It still was fun. I was very much enjoying the film. I think if you're a fan of well, let's say if you watched The Covenant, right? The Guy Ritchie film from I think we looked at it last year, right? If you enjoyed that, I think this is along those lines, right? It's that the kind of not not quite war, but it's a military situation. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you enjoyed The Covenant, I would definitely say, yeah, get you some Land of Bad because I think that will hit the spot for you. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very good comparison and recent comparison too. So yeah, there you go. Now this film, right? It will be hitting. I think it's D. Ugh, what am I trying to say? DVDs. Whew, why is that so difficult, right? Yeah, or no, actually, I think it's just coming to Prime, right, on the 26th of April. 26th of April. Yeah, people, you can find this on Prime. So yeah, I definitely would say it's worth a look. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, people. So yeah, Land of Bad.